Florent, ten týpek, ten první, který jsme vyslýchali, který je informačně od Navy je pravá ruka, takže někdo, s kým Navia mluví neustále, takže jeho zrada by bolela, což je bod pro zradu. Ale myslím, co si teď vzpomínám, že by zmiňoval nějaký velký super finanční příjmy, jako má nějakou placenou práci jakožto rádce spiny, ale Thierry zmiňoval vehementně, že má vysoce placenou práci, která je zároveň super jednoduchá. Takže ten zmiňoval, že jako má velký přísun peněz. Florent nezmiňoval žádný přísun peněz. Jeho zrada by bolela, ale nemá resources, aby pulnul gardemexskou invazi. Nehledě na znalosti, jestli by to věděl nebo ne. Thierry zmiňoval finance, takže by měl finance, což je bod pro, ale jeho zrada by nebolela, nebylo by to surprising, takže osobně nevěřím, že to je Thierry. Peníze by na to měl možná, protože i kdyby měl nějakou super vysoce platící práci, tak pořád bylo zmíněno, že produkce těch gardemeků prostě na vlastní pěst je extrémně drahý. A jako bych řekl, že Thierry má hodně peněz, ale ne super hodně peněz. Florent žádný peníze nezměnil, takže ten z těch tří bude možná nejchudší. Takže pak zbývá Marcel a jenom když si přehrajete to video zpátky, když jsme měli tu konverzaci s ním, nebo jak jsem říkal, během nebo po té konverzaci, že konverzace s ním byla hodně sus, že když si přebereme tu konverzaci a to, co nám řekl faktuálně, tak nám řekl jenom ty základní detaily a neřekl nám vůbec nic novýho. A jsem zmínil hned během té konverzace, že se řadí do one gunshot gangu, že řekl, že slyšel gunshot, ne gunshots, multiple, protože Thierry i Florent věděli a řekli nám fakt, že tam byly 2 gunshoty, ale Marcel jako jediný řekl, jako, že gunshot, takže si vůbec nic nepamatuje, co by nám mohlo pomoct, protože nevěděl, kolik toho víme, tak withheldnul takhle veškeré informace, které by nám pravděpodobně mohl říct. Přemýšlejc, že by to byl, kdyby to byl on. Tak je to jak to podal, by byl perfektní zastírací manévr, jak nám toho říct co nejmíň. Proklouzlo mu mezi rty, že jako single gunshot, ne 2, je hlavou obchodní merchantské gildy, takže jako přísun peněz má velký. Takže finančně na to má. Knowledge na to možná nemá osobně, ale mohl by si definitivně hirenout nebo koupit prostě tu knowledge, takže mohl by skrze někoho jiného mít tu knowledge prostě a zázemí na to. A mohl by to cálovat všechno, jakožto merchant guildář. Takže jako závisí to na několika faktorech, ale tím největším proponentem, tím největším faktorem jsou prachy. A ten Marcel je nejbohatší. A taky ten angle, který beru já osobně jako dodatečnej, čí zrada by Navii bolela nejvíc, tak Florentova a Marcelova zrada by jí bolely asi nejvíc. Florent je její blízký rádce, který radil jejímu otci a teď jí a je k ní nejblíž. A Marcelovi říká Uncle Marcel, jako strejdo, takže jako to je taky úplně jasný, že jeho zrada by Navii taky nepocně potěšila. Takže pravděpodobně nám to nechají zvolit, dokud se netrefíme. Ale já přemýšlím, že jako Marcel mi přišel sus immediately. Tak zkusím jeho.
Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. Still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been around since I was just a child. Also, wouldn't this mean he's
really
been spending
old.
a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business?
Maybe it's someone else. OK. Zase, že ačkoliv Marcel byl sus a jeho zrada by bola nejvíc, tak to nebyl on. Buď to nebyl on a teď máme jakože další pokus. A nebo teďko jakože kdo by měl ten synth business, I guess. A nebo co když jako jsou v tom částečně namočení všichni tři. To by byla sranda. Jako peníze na Gardemiky jsou nutný. Florent nezmiňoval výslovně žádný peníze. Jako má vysokou pozici u Spiny, ale jako má informace, ale ne peníze. Thierry má informace a peníze, ale jeho zrada by mi přišla ohraná a nevím, jestli k tomu má úplně super mega motiv a je to tak jenom gardista, který se tam v té spině a v tom posonu nachází prostě jen tak někde. Není to nějaké jakože vyloženě člen kruhu, jako Florent třeba, nebo rodinný důvěrník jako Marcel, který má ještě giga peníze. Ale jako zmínili, že gardisti jsou prolezlí, tak třeba Thierry.
Thierry, you say? Huh. It is possible that he's figured out a way to convert the Gardamex for personal use, but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us about the mecha. I also don't think he'd be able to keep that kind of tampering under wraps.
Já si taky nemyslím. Já myslím, že Marcel je suspicious as fuck, ale to jsme nevzala.
With the mecha, we'd be able to prove it with a simple check of the guard's inventory. If the mecha were taken from the guards, it should be pretty easy to find out when and...
Florent?
It is true that he was closest to my father, and thus had the best chance of learning about his dealings with Jacques. But as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly deals with personnel and security, so he shouldn't have much means when it comes to finances.
So you're saying he's too broke to afford a mecha army?
Přesně, co jsem tušil. On jako he's getting by, ale nezmiňoval žádný peněžní super wealthiness. Má vysokou pozici, ale s tím zaplatí svůj život, ne svůj život plus armádu.
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be able to dispatch a whole group so quickly. Who could it be?
I think you don't. Nope. Cases around. Informace, kterou nemáme. Information nemáme Florent? Ne, ten Florent je tady. Ale nějakou testimony tady v Court of Fontaineu nemáme. Irrelevant. Which of the three was most likely to have committed the crime? Marcel. He is suspicious as fuck.
If you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Neřekl nám žádný nový informace a řekl, že tam byla jediná gunshota, ne dvě, jako to tvrdí všichni ostatní.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water better thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When he laid out his case for the three, the rationale he gave me made a lot of sense as well. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and possesses significant intellect and foresight. Even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
He is someone who's very close to you after all. It's your uncle, já zrada vybolila.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
The Synth production base.
Yes, Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. But we don't have any other options right now. We need far more solid proof before we can hope to go charging in on our enemy.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Speak of the devil.
Huh? Aren't you the guy
O
from
něm
the
jsme
guards?
nemluvili.
Did
Never
something
mind.
happen?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial on our hands.
Dum dum dum.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's so newsworthy about this one?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
Oh, child.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yes.
We know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the
Well.
serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Že by ty, co jsou opravdu za tím serial disappearances casama, hodili Tartagliu under the bus, jak tak říkajíc, by ho hodili pod autobus, aby Navii totálně znemožnili vyhledání toho pravýho kulprita. Protože, jak říká, by guardi nesupportnuli nebo nevěřili jakýmkoliv jejím dalším závěrům, že ten pravý kulprit není Tartaglia, ale někdo jiný. Tahy a protitahy. Zajímavé.
Right. Because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah. And it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Well, partner, what do you think we should do? We still haven't found any conclusive evidence.
Let's split up the work. Jeden půjde zachraňovat věci a řešit, tak nějak jako držet věci jakž takž nad vodou na kortu a ten druhý půjde vybílit tu bázi.
Huh? Split up? What do you mean?
Jo, to je taky nadpověď. You can go to the arenas and attend the trial, while I'll go investigate the place. I should be able to handle it with my combat abilities.
Just as expected of my partner. Since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention will be focused on Irenaeus, leaving his home base wide open. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then, let's do this. I'll stall them at the Opera House and charge Marcel as the true culprit. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up to you to make it back in time and hand the decisive evidence to me.
Tak jako to udělala předtím ona pro nás. Leave it to me.
We'll help you, just like you helped us in Lenny's trial.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require our assistance. It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with the two of us by your side.
Thank you so much. Then, let's make haste for Irenaeus. Paimon, Traveler, I'll see you at the Opera House.
See you then!
Suspect analysis, to bude ta poslední otazníková věc. Combining information regarding the Gardamex and the investigation results, it can be concluded that only one person with capital finances to field a large number of Gardamex and run the sin business without leaving traces. Marcel. Because he is a sussy
Now that
boy.
Navia has set out for Araneas, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over.
Přehodíme.
Huh. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance.
Je to dělaný jako nějaké jakože domain.
Strike a pose!
To je otázka. Jako mělo by. Vždycky tomu tak bylo. Yeah. There it is.
Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure doesn't seem out of the ordinary at all.
Well, they don't want it to stand out. But I'm sure that what we will find inside will be extraordinary.
You're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures and mechanisms. Navia's probably arguing up a storm right now to stall for us.
Oh, my uvidíme obě strany. OK. No, bude dramatický. Tam snažit se claimovat caseu, aniž by měla
It would
jakýkoliv
appear that I
evidence.
must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to
Wow,
admit,
he's gunning
that's one
for
of
it
the most
already.
enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Wow.
Hey! Don't you understand?
Ach jo.
You're currently the
Takhle je
prime
boží.
suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of the Opera House. Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
Okay.
No. That's not what I meant.
Alas, it would
Tak-
appear that
takový-
communication
takový
with the defendant
cirkus.
is going poorly, and we have made very little progress. In that case,
Well-
let me explain everything from the very beginning again.
Tady takhle
The
nám
goal of this
taky
trial
kupuje
is to
čas.
determine the culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
That case had nothing to do with him. You've got the wrong man. Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harp.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings.
Možná
I
ve
only
stejném týdnu.
tolerated your behavior last time because you were able to provide, but that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your interjections.
Oh, please. Did you ever think I had any respect for this place's pointless theatrics? We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default. Correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, I've gotten half bored to death by all these rules and procedures anyway. So I'll take you up on that offer. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted.
Well,
Now then,
you
Miss
can
Navia,
go.
Who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is...
Já tam musím fakt nakliknout, teď jsme to mluvili. Jo, tady ten poslední otazník, suspect analysis. Asi to, no, že jako suspect analysis.
Marcel, the head of confrérie of Cabriere.
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Yep,
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia,
kind of.
that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing to the charge
Yep.
also means taking on the legal responsibilities associated with it. And if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge this man?
Takže contempt of court, false accusation, se jí builduje na pár let za mřížema.
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your places on the court. Members of the guards, please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that he may stand trial.
After a shocking film, Marcel is brought to the stand.
Mr. Marcel, you will not require an attorney. Is that correct?
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I still haven't figured out what's going on. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding between me and Navia.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived, Miss Navia, please present your charges.
Teď je otázka, jestli dostaneme jakože na vymlácení tu bázi a poté, co ji vymlátíme, tak jako se vrátíme sem kousek předtím, než se vrátíme, nebo... Protože já bych chtěl, aby se Lumina vrátila dřív než úplně na konci, dramaticky. Takže jako to už mě nebaví. Že vrať se uprostřed a sestavme nějaký case spolu, ne že Navia tady bude lovit v té nejmělčí vodě na světě nějaký case. Anyway.
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of Callus the Unfaithful. Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we connect all the dots for the serial disappearances case.
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father?
Osobně ne, samozřejmě,
Come
že ne.
on. Why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reason.
To bude fakt dlouho.
In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage.
Based on positions of cannot find loops on the statement, use evidence to go around this fact, otherwise not without references. Vzhledem k tomu, jak mi to šlo posledně, tak to budu spam klikovat, protože prostě logické úvahy tu prostě nefungují. User avatar can support urges or display the shift, i když to skoro vždycky nebude v mojí favor, bude to dramatický. When you find all, you can complete the cycle and unveil the
On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabriere. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callus, holding a gun, while his acquaintance, Jacques, lay dead from a gunshot wound. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect's first shot must have missed, while the second must have taken Jacques' life. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Instead, he chose to prove his innocence through
Takhle
a duel.
vypadal, jo, ten Callus. Jestli takhle fakt ten její otec vypadal, tak to vypadal hodně badass.
Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing duel, and soon succumbed to the injuries. These are the known facts about the case.
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. In truth, the
kind
third
of,
person
yeah.
shot Jacques first, and was shot in turn by my father when my father seized the gun from him. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into water, erasing all traces of him from the scene.
Thank you for the summary, Your Honor.
Of course, the guard's conclusion appeared quite sensible to us at the time. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea.
To je pravda, to bylo on by the Gabriel, takže jako 2 gunshots from the courtyard, ne 1 gunshot, jak to tvrdí on. Who had a motive? Calles, who had a motive to kill murder? He did not have a motive, protože s ním spolupracoval, ale my chceme, ona primárně mluvila o tom. Did it point towards the possible existence of a third? Dissolve people? To říkám, logické úvahy tady prostě nefungujou. Tady se přímo píše prostě, že prostě jak by bylo možné, aby tam byla třetí osoba? Tím, že prostě Primordial Water někoho rozpliznul. A hra prostě, ne, I don't think so. Takže to prostě budu muset na spam klikovat fakt, protože to prostě nic nedává smysl.
The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callis when he set out for the banquet. Unfortunately for Jacques, the true culprit had already considered this possibility and had sent out another assassin.
Ještě máme carry a gun with him. Na jedno z toho to snad pasuje, ne? Did not bring a gun with him. Jako did not carry a gun with him. Jako to už jako je známý, nebo? There you go.
This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callis, only for Callis to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead.
Tady to patří? What?
Was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques as a costume to disguise himself. Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their dissolved accomplice. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callis was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
No, měl by si říct, toto je moje verze eventu, protože k pravdě to má pořád hodně daleko. Hey, we're feuded. O tom ale jak daleko to půjde, to neznamená vůbec nic.
That's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
Yes!
What a great theory. It also explains Callis's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each other after all.
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove you're innocent.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine two things. One, do you have the evidence to back up your claim?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment. I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time.
To je takovej reach. Přesuňte tam prostě tu částu s Luminou, jak čistím, vole, to, anebo prostě to katněte někdy teďkon, jak Lumina přichází. Prostě mě nezajímá, že prostě tam zase hodí ten Naviu nebo někoho do mělký vody a celý obecenstvo je bude bučet.
We should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently today?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself again?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
To je pořád fakt.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed as you described, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that a person had been dissolved, he could have at least mounted a defense.
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit to be brought to justice. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I wouldn't have been the only one in danger. All of us would have stood to lose our lives. Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right, but what good would that do? How can a hollow verdict protect anyone? Had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice, Spina di Rosula would have had no reason to exist.
Damn.
By staying silent, we retain the ability to deter our opponents and continue the stalemate. I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house cannot, and restore my father's truth and honor back to him.
So, you mean to say, your father intended to die in the duelist's ring?
Yes.
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clarand.
Yep.
I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. You don't have to do anything for my sake. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callis was intending to die?
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were determined, others passionate, and some even manic and twisted. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never intended to leave the ring alive.
Yeah.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Come on, šokněte tam tu Luminu.
Right? What she said was fascinating.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial disappearance?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a matter of timing. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callus. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it a little preposterous. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child, Navia. It's one of your most endearing traits.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigations, until I'm the only one left on the list. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation of murder from a girl you see as your own daughter? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me anyways.
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to gain. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callus's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, demoiselle. This was my mistake.
No, it's not your fault. I'm sure he had come prepared.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first business license against the first known case of the serial disappearances? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the unspeakable anguish in your heart?
Seems like she got the wrong. At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accusing him.
A půjde sedět za to, že přerušila násilně nějaký jiný court proceeding.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father's feelings as he neared the end of his life. But aren't you going against all of his wishes and expectations right now? He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and conscientious, instead of dwelling only on your own feelings. Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things, you'd have met most of his expectations.
This isn't just about me, and it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the victims is that I still have the ability to search for the truth. While that same agency has long been taken from them, the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who lost their loved ones to the serial disappearances, and the people who suffered tragic ends due to their sense of justice. Many people's images are flashing before my eyes. I'm sure some are coming to those of you in the audience as well. And whose image do you see, Marcel? Is it a man named Vacher?
Kámo, tohle byla asi trefa do černýho.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Hey, finally switching back. A visible reakce prostě zmíní Vachera. Do you by any chance know a Vacher? Jo, nahoru. Jo, já už jsem uvnitř toho, takže I'm stuck with this thing. Mám svůj freeze group, ale seal moc nemá, jenom freeze. Nahrávání pořád jede.
Stop Stabilize.
Go as one! My apologies. Embrace the ice. Whirling snow.
Bavíme.
Whoa, the floor is going up. Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place.
Bednička.
Paimon thinks we need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around.
Do
Maybe
you
we'll
know
find
the
a
way?
hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up.
Ah, I see something suspicious. Give me this. Ah, water is rising.
The water level is rising. Now we can swim to the top. But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Ooh.
I will have order.
Snad je to vezme. Yep.
Take flight. May I present?
Solidify.
My apologies. Sakura swirl.
Barbados, guide us.
All of you, get out of my way.
Take flight.
Let me in. Jo, zvedneme bodu ještě výš.
Now the path is clear. Let's go.
Oh. Další beden. Další mechanismus. Gardemix.
Stabilize.
Yoo-hoo! My apologies. Yeah.
This is order.
Go as one. Let the world collide. Whirling snow. Yeah. Yeah. The show begins.
Wind, hear me.
Solidify.
My apologies.
Another one down.
After all that, we finally made it to the innermost sanctum. Though, as expected, the mastermind isn't here.
Though, if I'm not mistaken, he's
right.
charged by Navia as we
Let's
speak.
hurry up and find some evidence so we can get back to the opera house and help Navia.
Yes. What is evidence?
What's all this? Aw, it's a bunch of really cute things. Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box.
There's a name to it too.
Oh, Paimon sees it too, but why are all these cute things labeled with different girls' names?
Probably belong to the victims.
Huh? You mean the girls from the serial disappearances? They were brought here, and then they were turned into water, and all the boxes of things. These names. That means... Oh, this is terrible.
Possessions of the missing persons. You just got object container labeled names of home done with the Desert HQ. The names here must have something to do with the victims to prove that it was their final stop. Bottles. Ah, primordial water.
There's so much synth here.
Synth.
And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain the waters of the primordial sea.
There are so many.
Mixing in progress. Ready to drink. Stock sample? Huh. They've also got all the synth pretty clearly labeled. Whoa, there's even fruit-flavored synth?
Definitely proves that this is where they produce it.
Yep, it's super obvious.
Synth. Popular potion circulating quite widely. It gives the drinker hallucinations and drug feelings, but its side effects are equally strong. Experimentation table.
What's this over here? Looks like some kind of place for research. Experiment number 16 aims to verify Jacob Ingold's research conclusions on the primordial sea and use his theory as a foundation to achieve a breakthrough. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens 22, 23, and 24 were dissolved.
Ooh, scary. Calm down.
Sorry, Traveler.
They're already dead.
Try your best. It's just that Paimon's never read something so scary before. How can someone write something that terrible in such a matter-of-fact tone?
Už jich je 24.
You read the rest. Paimon's too scared to keep going.
Okay. The goal of the researcher is to save his lover, a woman called Villeneuve, who was dissolved.
So that's why he did all of these experiments. Wait, did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane!
And the name we recognize, Vacher.
Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case.
No, he is the researcher.
You mean Vacher is the one who did all of these... experiments?
Yes, he signed up on a bunch of experiment reports. And the voice I heard from the fountain was probably Vignier.
So that's it! Vacher was no victim, but personally took his lover and... No, that's not it either! If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water?
There must be more to it than meets the eye.
In any case, Paimon will write it all down.
Vaše experimental records. To, co jsme přečetli. 24 dead women and counting. Examine pool itself.
Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water!
That must be the primordial sea.
That means this is where they make all the synth! And that special water is the main ingredient! If you dilute it with normal water, you'll get synth! But the pure stuff can dissolve a human! Paimon will take notes on this incriminating evidence!
And this is a great synth. No tohle všechno by mohlo vymizet, ale nevím, jak by geograficky vysušili Primordial Sea jezírko.
Let's see what's written here. Nothing escapes Detective Paimon's eye. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation report on him.
It's probably related to the Jacques case.
Yep, it's about finding someone to assassinate Jacques and Callus because of a lack of confidence that Jacques himself would go through with it. This should prove the existence of the third person, right?
Is there anything else?
We still have not determined the exact content of the key information Callus has passed on to certain members of his organization. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by the promise he's made to us, he will still have the upper hand. He can act whenever he wants to make our lives miserable. The only option left is to remove him from the picture entirely. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't touch Navi. Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups.
They planned this well in advance.
They're all just so evil.
Close quarters, the Callus, over to ensure God dead, the content follows to define the culprit's motive.
We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories were spot on. But
Who is this Bashir?
yeah, we haven't found anything that reveals his true identity. No wonder even Nervalette wasn't able to find anything. Whoever it is probably destroyed everything to do with that name a long time ago. That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the true culprit.
Clever. But not clever enough to me. Let's look again.
Sure thing. Paimon won't admit defeat to this guy either.
A čím díl hledáte, tím víc Navia musí strádat a tím víc já z toho budu cringeovat. Many things connected to what we know, ale nic na vaše true identity. Zřejmě je viditelná stěna, tam dozadu nemůžu. Tady oblečení?
Take that side and Paimon will take this side. Check everything carefully.
After some time.
Ugh, nothing at all. And Paimon can't even find snacks either.
I found it.
Whoa, really? Let Paimon see. Vignier.
Important book.
Isn't that Vache's lover's name? Then you found her diary. Aw. It's just a normal diary chronicling their love story. She was so sweet, too. Oh, Paimon feels even worse for her now.
Take a look at this page. She even made a list of baby names. Circling one of them.
So many! A whole page's worth! But they're all crossed out. Was she unhappy with all of them? The final name she decided on was Marcel. Wait.
Ooh la la.
Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vache and Vignier's grown son?
That's why. To je ten důvod, proč nevím jak se říká, ale ta organizace je tu díl než Marcel. A on přišel ze Sežnají a dorazil do Fontaineu, když už to organizace existovala, protože to organizace vedly nejdřív jeho rodiče. I figured all out, let's go.
Hey! Paimon still hasn't figured it out yet.
Na to máme celý trial. What if it tries and was Marcel? You race back to the opera.
And whose image do you see, Marcel?
A backtrackujeme o větu nebo dvě zpátky.
Is it a man named Vache? Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
Prosím, že dorazíme někdy během následujících 5 minut a ne, že pojedeme 10 minut a Lumina pořád někde.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Navia, we're back!
As expected of my partner. I just knew you'd return in the nick of time.
Just how often do you intend to flout the rules of this court?
It's all right, Monsieur Neuvillette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the crucial evidence.
You say never heard of Vacher, but which are the two identities of Vacher? Která kniha? No, tohle tam má i jakože jeho jméno je lover. I guess tohleto má.
The truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vache.
Okay.
We've investigated your lair and we already know everything. After your lover, Venier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you. You even created Marcel as a new identity and destroyed all records of your past as Vache.
So that's it. Even the villains in opera performances rarely go that far. And with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, do you know where you went wrong? You fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away, instead of paying attention to the living people around you. So, you never noticed how we changed, or how we grew as individuals.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for his daughter.
Or our determination to see things through.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise, the trial will move on to the next stage.
Do you really think I wanted to do any of this? Pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers from the Maison Gardiennage were laughing at me. They said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vinier's death was brushed away by all of you as if it didn't matter at all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, it's too late now. All those who were dissolved are gone forever. You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of the people. Vinier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she goes, I will fall, but I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be dissolved, no matter what I do.
To je pravda.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve. Can't dissolve. Do you all see? I can't go. I can't follow. So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try to bring her back? I did all of that. And in the end, that accursed callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very end.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain him.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still need to save Vinier. Vinier, please, Vinier. Don't think badly of me. All I want to do is fulfill our promise.
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any basis.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearances case.
He proceeds to review and compile the evidence.
The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignier.
Yep.
During an underwater expedition,
cute.
Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vignier back to life. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria, and began to manufacture and market synth. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with Spina di Rosula. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president Callus at a banquet. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the scene. And just recently, Vacher attempted to frame Linny as the culprit of the serial disappearances case, using a similar method. However, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations that he was eventually successfully charged in court. Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case, with the truth revealed to all.
Charlotte, kde seš? Seš tu někde, hned si to zapiš, abys byla první, jak si
The
chtěla.
oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vacher.
Jako by to vůbec byla otázka. Pokud ta oratrice není cinknutá, samozřejmě.
According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale, Mr. Vacher is guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher away.
Good. It's what he.
With that, the serial disappearances case is over now.
We really just witnessed history. Who would have thought the true culprit would be such a polite and well-spoken guy?
Yippee! We helped Navia bring the bad guy to justice! He's hurt so many innocent people and now he's finally getting what he deserves! Huh? Are you okay?
Navia? No victory?
Demoiselle, you were absolutely brilliant.
The day our late boss had always hoped for has finally come. You can rest easy now, knowing justice has been served.
Yeah. Yeah. It's finally over. It's all thanks to you guys. And my partner. See, Papa? Spina di Rosula's still doing well with me at the helm.
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served, past wrongs have been righted, and it's a big ol' happy ending. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business to attend to. So, if you'll excuse me...
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
What now? None of this has anything to do with me.
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already
yeah,
caught
is
the
it
real
necessary?
criminal? Isn't it time for side characters like me to exit stage left?
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This has always been the rule.
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get this over with.
Through evidence presented in the public trial that was just held, it has been established that Mr. Tartaglia has no direct connection to the serial disappearances case. The guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logical to suppose Mr. Tartaglia is innocent of the charges. We now turn to the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
He is not guilty.
According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique
What?
d'analyse cardinale, Mr. Tartaglia is...
Is he?
Guilty.
Holy shit, takže to je cinknutý. OK. Liny vyšetřoval právě, že jako něco není úplně v pořádku s tou oratrice mašinou. Že tam má pod sebou místnost pod tím oratricem, kde je jakože nějaký hlas vycházející a že v tom někdo má prsty, že může manipulovat s tou oratricou. Tak možná tomu tak skutečně je a snaží se vyšachovat Tartagliu.
Hey, hey! That's not funny! Didn't you just say I'm supposed to be innocent? What's with this verdict? Is your justice machine malfunctioning?
Huh? This has never happened before. The oratrice actually returned a different verdict from the Chief Justice.
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think the oratrice might have just convicted him on general principle?
To je pravda, jako jenom protože Harbinger jako tak je guilty ve všem, čeho se dotkne.
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
Přesně. Jako nepochybuji, že Child je od Tartaglia, že namočený v něčem Harbingerovským, co se týká prostě Fontaineu, nebo prostě nějakých shady věcí. Ale s tímhle nemá vůbec žádný konekce. Takže vůbec. But what is going
The
on?
judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale is, by law, the final verdict of the court. We must accept the guilty verdict. Guards, please take the suspect into custody per court protocol.
Jo, to se mu nebude líbit. Ale nemá ani svoji vision, protože tu máme my.
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
Hell yeah. Go. Show them what's done. Jako nemá vision, ale elektro používá docela dobře. Bude do full Harbinger módu? Nebo má nějaký nový? Jo, Neuvillet je... Vzhledem k tomu, jak je Neuvillet 5-starový a silný je svak, tak... Pravděpodobně jo. Nebude takový máslo.
But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Well... He ruined all the fun. Ne, krvácíš, jaká to škoda. No, to mohla být sranda. To totálně zrujnoval.
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, the oratrice's judgment is the final verdict of the court. All I do is follow court procedure. As for why the oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
If even the Chief Justice doesn't know, then we just have to ask the Archon herself.
Why are you looking at me? I had nothing to do with it. I don't know what happened there either. Hey, stop staring at me!
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's impossible. Didn't she create the oratrice herself?
No, všichni původní archoni jsou mrtví, takže kromě Venty a Zhonglio, takže je možný, že tu oratrice vytvořil ten archon, který tam byl před ní.
Yeah, so are the verdicts reliable or not? Can results like this really be called justice?
My dearest citizens,
My
did
fucking
you really think we'd allow an incorrect verdict to be handed out in this court? Did you really believe that the judgment could be? Don't tell me.
Yes,
You
get to the
thought
point.
even I had been blindsided by the aura.
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had no idea what was going on.
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place.
Já všechno to bylo performance, jasně.
Of course, for every performance there is a script. Everything has unfolded exactly as I expected from the very beginning. As the embodiment of the very concept of justice, the Oratrice shall never render an arbitrary judgment! If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances case, it is only because you've been blinded by the superficial appearance of innocence.
Si jenom kope svoji vlastní hrobku.
Everything
Chtěl jenom do ní
he's
skočit.
done, not to
Je
mention
to jen
the
otázka
dangers
času.
he poses, are beyond ordinary comprehension and completely unforgivable. All shall be revealed in time. You will come to understand my noble intentions, as well as the absolute correctness of the Oratrice's verdict. Now, having said that, although I hate to leave things hanging in suspense, it is now time for this performance to end. As the lead actress, I shall be the first to take my leave. Toodaloo!
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she just said?
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any idea.
Way to pull the rug out from under her.
However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
All right. Even though we feel pretty badly for him, we'll take your word for it for now. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff, so he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
No, za tohle ne.
Oh, Monsieur Nervalet! That power you showed when you took him down.
I'm the Chief Justice of Fontaine, of course. If officers of the law lack the strength and capability to enforce it, then it makes a mockery of justice.
Oh yeah? Is that really all you are? I somehow don't believe you, mister. Kde ona sedí? Tam je nový. No, jsme jaký selo tady na stranách? Nebo tam úplně nahoře možná. Se nedostanu ani náhodou. Přemýšlím, jestli to není někdo schovaný na pokecání, ale asi ne.
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you doing over?
Stop resisting arrest! Cease, or we'll add another charge to the list.
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
No, it doesn't.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vacher?
Yep. Realized no si to.
I erased all records of that name. So, unless...
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Yes, I met her.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do it?
It was around the Fountain of Lucien. Something to do with my sensitivity to a hydro element.
The Fountain of Lucine? Then she's been so close to me all along. and I just never... Please give me a chance to talk to her again. Just let the traveler take me to the fountain to see her one last time. This is the last request I'll ever make in my life. You can do whatever you want to me afterwards. I don't care.
What? Give an inch and you want to take a mile? Do you think serial killers get to make requests like that?
Paimon agrees. Why should we give him what he wants when he's only done a ton of super terrible things?
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait, no. It's worth even more than my life.
Humans. Will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual needs? Very well. I will grant your request.
Your Honor, I fear that...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that case, I shall leave him in your most capable hands, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bring ourselves to the fountain. Yep. A my vlastně vystoupíme stejně daleko na druhé straně zhruba, tak to vlastně teleportování není potřebný.
Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Back then, I drank water from the primordial sea, and I was sensitive to the hydro element.
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing. Didn't you just drink a lot of it on the stage as well? Oh, in that case...
Vache!
Ah!
Yes, that's it! So you heard it too!
Vinier, it's me! It's me, Vache!
Vache? Vache!
I'm here! Where are you, Vinier?
Hey, wait! Be careful!
Vinier, is that you? It's me, Vache! Vinier!
Vache? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You don't need to look for me. You look a lot older than I remember. How long has it been?
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered for over 20 years since the day you left. All this time, only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. Nothing else mattered to me. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought I'd get the chance to tell you all of my feelings like this? Vinier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could live without you.
But Vache, if you ask me, this world would be better off without you.
What are you saying?
If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day.
Oh, is there more to the story?
If not for you, I would have continued to pursue my love of the arts, and my works would have been displayed in the Palais Mermonia itself. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone, with nothing but the tears on her cheeks. It's all
you followed
because of
him.
your selfishness, Vache. It's all because of you.
You... Wait, you are not Vinier. Who are you?
You're right. I am not Vinier. I am
See?
the sacrifices.
Vůbec nedávalo smysl.
Every woman who died by your hand,
Jo.
as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back to the primordial sea.
Že ve zkratce ten oceán není Vinier, ale všechny ty dissolvnutý ženy najednou. Všech 24, co rozpůl, tak sformovali jednu celkovou consciousness, kterou tady vidíme před náma.
Our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals, but we became one, just as streams of water come together in the sea.
Je všech 24 ženský v jednu formu.
I'm Cressy. I'm Lemony. I'm Azine. The only one I am not is Vinier.
Why? But then, where is Vinier?
She doesn't want to see you anymore.
Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you.
Is that so?
This is what you get for your selfishness. Your selfishness robbed us of our lives and our futures. You said time and time again that you'd do any and everything for her. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would despise you for what you became?
A jak by to věděla? Je mrtvá nebo nějaká kaluž někde?
You are a
You can
liar,
say nothing.
a heartless murderer, and a cowardly narcissist. The only thing you are not is Vigniere's beloved. From the moment your first victim died and her consciousness merged with Vigniere's, she has had nothing but pure hatred for you.
Looks I didn't mean it back either. They must have wanted me to lure Marcel from the very beginning.
No! Yeah! She can't hate me. Let me see her. Please! Have mercy!
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vigniere. She really doesn't want to see you anymore. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her final drop of pity for you. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you. Vache. Vache? Vache. 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 Vache.
There's so many. Almost like it's to all 24 of them. Hey. The guards were the couple of young men to Marcel appeared to have lost his soul. However, the final reports something. Takže se utopil ve fontáně. A všichni budou confused as fuck.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time since we've been able to relax.
Shopping is stressful in its own way, though. My legs are killing me.
Ah, well met, partner. I knew something great was going to happen when I woke up in such a good mood today.
Even this weather can't put a damper on the demoiselle's mood.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, Navia! It's been a few days. Paimon's already started to miss you.
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to work with and always bring home the bacon. Who wouldn't treasure having a partner like me?
Sounds like you're really enjoying life these days, Navia. What have you been busy with since the trial?
It's just been one thing after the other. I've been making non-stop trips between Poisson and the courts in Sen. Everyone from Spina di Rosula organized a memorial for my father. We never held a memorial when he first died, since everyone knew that even if we held one back then, no one was going to come.
Memorial,
This time, though, everyone in Poisson, and even many people from the court all attended.
So his name's definitely been cleared now. That's what we like to hear.
It's been the dearest wish of Demoiselle all along.
That blasted stubborn fool. I was right to put my faith in him. I'm so glad I didn't give up on the case all those years ago.
Things turned out as well as they could have.
Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after I left the memorial service. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there, and there was no way she'd just let me go.
Yep. Ona toužila pokryt tuhletu caseu, až to bude vyřešený.
Huh? So you know Charlotte too? The Charlotte? Journalist from the Steambird?
Yeah, way back when I first became the president of the Spina di Rosula, she was all over me. Wouldn't take no for an answer. I believe the story was called The True Heart of Darkness. Secret Tales of the Yellow Rose. To be fair, though, it was a really flattering feature. So, we've been on pretty good terms ever since. She was trying to lean on our friendship to get me to do an exclusive piece on the serial disappearances case.
Oh yeah, she told us about that. She's always been super interested in that case, so now her wish has finally come true too.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she writes about you guys entering the opera house with the critical evidence, that you both sound really cool.
Now that's another thing to look forward to. We trust Charlotte's skills with a pen for sure.
Oh, and in other news, I also took Clarand out for a meal.
Oh, are you two on better terms now?
While you were investigating Vache's headquarters, Clarand gave testimony on my father's behalf. It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her. I mean, there's also no point in being awkward all the time. So we took the chance to reconcile with each other.
Oh, that's great. Paimon also thought Clarand wasn't actually a bad person. It's always good to have more friends.
Anyway, now that the case has finally been solved, perhaps it will slowly begin to fade from the public consciousness. Oh, actually, there's still one last thing I need to do.
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave and tell him the truth of what happened, as well as how it all ended. And on top of that, just how much people still look up to him. That includes me, too.
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
Can I come too?
We want to go too. We also think Callus is a really admirable person.
Sure thing. I'd like you two to share the moment with me. After all, without you, there might not have been such a positive ending.
And in that case, everyone, let's be off. Considering the recent weather, we'll be lucky if we can reach Poisson before dark.
Yeah, you're right. It's been raining non-stop for a few days now.
No, snad nepřijdou žádný povodně. Nebo jsem dal
This is where
testovat.
my father's grave is. To be perfectly honest, even I haven't been back here for a long time.
Huh? There's someone there already. Wait. That figure. It can't be... Isn't that Nervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
Oh.
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to pay my respects.
Don't say that.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying to say there's no need for you to apologize. I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even the Chief Justice would feel compelled to apologize to me over and over.
In that case, I will stop apologizing for now.
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur Nervalette. In any case, why did you come to Poisson?
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice anyway?
Damn. Jestli on nad tím, někdo jako on nad tím usilovně začíná přemýšlet, tak jako to už je seriózní.
There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything more important to humans than life itself. Oh, rather than that, it's probably more truthful to say I didn't believe humans were capable of resisting the most basic instinct of living things. That they could rebel against their own nature, or consider certain things to be more important than their own lives. Which is also why I didn't stop your father from beginning that fateful duel. I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing, should have been nothing more important than one's own continued survival. But Mr. Callus proved me utterly and decisively wrong. If not for his sacrifice, the serial disappearances case would have remained unsolved to this day. Mr. Callus made the choice he did for his daughter, for his associates, and for many people completely unrelated to him. And in the end, from a certain perspective, one could say that he did it all for the sake of justice. A justice that's higher than life itself. So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callus in person. I should have noticed all of this much sooner. This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for days.
Wait.
That high and mighty chair in the opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for your hard work and perseverance.
I'm sorry for being mad at you before. So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh? That reminds me of Silver. One of my guys.
Sorry about that. Self-expression is not one of my strong suits.
Didn't I just say you don't need to apologize?
Wow.
So Navia and Novelette seem to have made their peace as well.
Jestli teď Noivelovi zlepší nálada a přestane pršet, tak já přísám.
Let's not disturb them for now. We can wait till after they're done.
We also pay respect to Callus. No, už se mu zlepšila nálada.
Paimon's never paid respects at someone's grave before. Did Paimon do anything rude there?
Well, people don't usually fly around someone's grave.
Huh? Oh, Paimon didn't know that was a thing. But Paimon doesn't know what she would do if she can't fly. Oh no. Paimon hopes Miss Navia won't be too mad.
Wow, she took it seriously.
Anyway, Novelette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so why don't we go talk to him for a bit? If we can't talk to Lady Farina, we can at least talk to him, right?
Yeah, let's talk to him. For all I know, povídat si s ním bude mnohem informačně a lukrativně výdělečnější, než povídat s Furinou. Že mám takový feeling, že on ví víc.
Did Miss Navia invite you to come pay your...
We ran into Navia on the streets today, so we just followed her here.
I see.
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this, since you're usually super busy. So we figured we could try to ask you a few questions, if that's okay.
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my pleasure to return the favor.
OK, big questionnaire. Podobný jako na konci při Archon questu pro zemi, i když my jsme teprve ani ne v půlce. V druhém ze 6, když počítáte ten Dainslifovský 6. Takže máme za sebou třetinu a dostaneme tohle. OK. About the water primordial sea.
So, at court, the bad guys referred to that special water as water from the primordial sea, but what is it really?
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence after extensive research. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was rather different from that of the sea we know today. Most of Tevat's life forms were first born in that special sea. You could say it nurtured much of the life on this planet.
Huh. So it really was where everything began. It makes sense to call it primordial then.
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a remnant from a truly ancient age.
Huh. So that's how it is. Oh, you really know everything, Monsieur Neuvillette. But if that's the case, then why would people, at least people from Fontaine, dissolve in that kind of water?
Indeed. Why would the primordial sea, which was known to engender and nurture life, suddenly reverse itself and devour life instead? To be frank, that also doesn't match my understanding of this world and its laws. There must still be some unknown secrets around the people of this land. Is there anything else you'd like?
Yes. The prophecy... About the prophecy that has been circulating.
That the sea levels will rise and everyone will be dissolved in water, leaving Farina crying alone on her throne, but the sins of the people will be finally washed away for good. Does that appropriately summarize the version you've heard?
That's right! It was Linny that told us back then. And that about covers all the main points.
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy directly. Rumors have it that this prophecy is rooted in the last words the former Hydro Archon left to the world before she passed away.
Máme informaci. Former Hydro Archon byla ona. Former Hydro Archon before she passed away. Takže to je definitivní. Takže ta originální Hydroarchon byla nějaká slečna před Furinou.
Of the former Hydro Archon? Wow. This is the first time that we've ever heard of it.
2 parts of the prophecy have already proven correct. The rising sea levels and the ability of the people of Fontaine to be dissolved. We should be more vigilant and stay on the watch for further signs.
No, ty se dissolvují ve speciální vodě, která je z počátku existence. Takže ta realizující normální voda nedissolvne nikoho. Takže pokud se voda magicky nepřemění na primordial vodu exkluzivně v masivním měřítku, tak celá ta profese se rozpadne v základech.
Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. Indeed, she has been collecting information and intelligence from across Tevat for this purpose. If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the conundrum left to Farina by her predecessor.
But with Farina being the way she is, can we really trust her to solve it?
Is there anything else you'd like?
He has nothing to say about that. Ale jeho odpověď pravděpodobně byla spíš ne. So about Child and all the thing that happened around that.
My apologies. My investigation has still not reached its conclusion. However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice was not rendered arbitrarily.
But you also said you thought he was innocent.
For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on each case. As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated into it. Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, but it likely also possesses other traits, such as self-awareness. Which is all to say, I have been prepared for a situation like this for a long time.
So when Lenny told us that he heard a human voice from the room where the Oratrice's core is stored...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. I will add that to the list of items to investigate.
Jádro té Oratrice má v sobě nějakého člověka. Please investigate.
In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. We just do not have enough information. Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff her way through it, though, with her time-tested twin tricks of bravado and drama. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to bide his time in the fortress of Meripede. If we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate him to the fullest extent allowed by the law.
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred fight with you.
Is there anything else?
Na to taky nemá co říct. Do you know anything about my sibling? Ne, já jsem se jenom chtěl zeptat.
Your sibling? Another blonde-haired traveler? I'm sorry, but I've never seen anyone who matches that description.
V přítomných dobách je pod tajnou organizací a naposled, kdyby tady procházel, bylo před 500 lety, takže pokud nejseš 500 let starý a nebyl si tady zhruba v té oblasti na hodně místech najednou, tak by se asi nepotkal.
If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws to the letter and had no reason to appear on the stage of the opera Epicles. Is there anything else you'd like to...
No more.
Very well. It was my honor to provide you with what answers I could. I very much enjoyed conversing with you. It will soon be time for me to leave this blissful tranquility behind and return to Palais Memornia.
You really are super busy, Monsieur Neuvillette. Paimon thought you only came here to pay your respects today because you had the day off.
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so justice must work around the clock as well. This is merely the nature of a justice's work.
All right, you've got a point.
No, proto existuje těch justiců několik, aby se mohli střídat.
Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.
Protože jeho nálada je lepší. Já vám říkám, jeho nálada určuje počasí. A s tímhletím revelationem je akt 2 kompletní.
You know, we've been walking around for a while now. Why don't we go back to the Spina di Rosula base in the court of Fontaine and have a rest? Navia said something about having a place ready for us there.
Hromada jiných questů se objevila. Yeah. Steambird interview. There's a man column is hiring assistant. Complete this quest to unlock city reputation. Commissions. Yeah. Takže tu reputační věc, kde budu dostávat věci. Ale to bude pro dnešní díl všechno. Velmi jsem se užil, byl to mnohem víc naplněný. Nečekal jsem, že ještě to bude nějaký, že začnou Jsem nečekal, že začnou buildovat ten trial, jako nějaký ty clues na trial. A na to, aby ještě jsem vměstnali ten trial samotný. Ale taky to vytváří precedens, že v prvním aktu jsme měli v první půlce věci, v druhé půlce trial. A teď to bylo vesměs v podstatě to samý. Taky jsme měli na konci trial, takže to, co bude součástí třetího aktu, teď když v první a druhé půlce... V prvním aktu a v druhém aktu byl v podstatě jeden giga arc toho serial disappearance caseu. Což ty první dva akty, jak je teď s Natlanem, jsou ty jediný akty, které jsou releasenutý hned, a pak je to s mezerou v dalším updateu. Takže ať přijde, co se týče story, něco dalšího, tak to bude něco pravděpodobně novýho, o čem nemáme ánung, co by se mohlo dít. Protože další je prostě Not that citizens have been solved, they decided to rest for a while, but something is stirring in the dark. A tea party most thorny, to the stars shining in the depths. Takže něco se začne dít. Child je ve vězení a nechce tam být ani náhodou. Lumina ho pravděpodobně nepřijde navštívit, protože pokud si to nevyžádá Child, jestli mu dají jako tu privilegium, že může požádat o návštěvu někoho, ale nezaručí mu, že osoba dorazí. Tak to je asi jediná cesta, jak bychom se tam ocitli v tom Fortress of Meropide. Jinak Child asi nenavštíme jen tak, v té Lumině se nebude chtít. Takže co se týče budoucnosti, tam není moc o čem spekulovat. Jinak jo, měli jsme v podstatě zároveň, jak to byl serial disappearance case, double akt 1, akt 2, tak to byly v podstatě průřez celým charakter story pro Naviu. Jsme prostě dozvěděli všechno od její minulost až do přítomnosti, vlastně všechno, co se stalo. Veškerý její emoční spouštěče a všechno, co se přihodilo a tohleto. Takže to mělo definitivně svůj theme. A I liked it. Někdy občas to bylo trošku přetáhnutý, to její věčný brečení kvůli sebe menší zmínce o tom. Ale tak vesměs obecně se tam děly jiné věci, takže jsem byl spokojen. A forně se začíná svět rozpadat pod nohama. Jednak profesor říká, že se jí svět rozpadne pod nohama, nebo že jí svět se zatopí pod nohama přesněji. A teď už ve 2 court casech byl velký moment, kdy vypadala jako naprostý trumbelín a ztratila kontrolu nad věcma a vypadala jako ta hloupá osoba, která udělala překlep, což jí určitě nepomohlo moc emočně, takže jsem zvědavý, jestli se to něco vyvine. A jak ještě jednou říkám, počasí pravděpodobně je závislý na to, jak se Nový cítí. A jestli opravdu po každém court caseu se cítí nějak smutně nebo divně, co způsobí déšť. Což je řečeno, že prší po každý, když je trial, nebo po té, co trial skončí, tak začne pršet. To znamená, že Noivil je vždycky v tom určitém emočním stavu po té, co dokončí ten trial a přemýšlí nad tím, jak skončil.
I do hope the Knights of Favonius are all working hard.
Určitě něco pro to, nějaký evidence přibude v budoucnosti, ale budu to mít v hlavě. Takže na tom určitě něco bude. A jinak předchozí Arkon byla ona, takže pokud tam nebyly hodně rychlý šachování sem a tam mezi tím, kdo je Archon, tak to není on. Když jako vypadá na to, že by mohl být, je modrý taky. Jako ne, že by byl barvistický, ale jako Furina je modrý, má modrý proužek vlasů a jako jak sundal Childa na jeden slam, bylo hodně vypovídající o tom, že je víc, že jako takovej je víc, než se zdá a nerozumí lidským pocitům, takže jako je relativně obvious, že je něčím víc, ale nevíme přesně čím. Což na to se taky těším, až pospojujeme vodítka k tomu, kdo je. No, to bude všechno pro lamentování přítomnosti, minulosti, budoucnosti. To, abych tu nelamentoval a nemluvil o tom do nekonečna. Takže to bude ode mě pro tento díl všechno. Jak jsem říkal, jsem se to užil. Ale než se úplně rozloučíme, tak musíme ještě vyšpulnout. Tak, bannery se změnily. Tentokrát je natlantská postava Kinichi, neboli jak subset od Genshin fanoušků a podle módu, který jsem zastřehnul, genshinský Sasuke. Protože můžete ho namodovat, aby vypadal jako Uchiha Sasuke z Naruta. A co jsem se na něj koukal, tak je relativně OP, když má svoje podmínky a dobrý ekvip a dobrou grupu, tak dokáže být hodně OP. A minimálně ten jeho trial playstyle byl v tom velmi specifickým ekvipu, co měl, a specifickýma úplně ne náhodou vytvořenýma arénama volnýma, kde se potřebuje hodně hýbat do šířky pro ty jeho skilly. Tak byl hodně OP a dával hodně velký čočky, hodně rychle. Ale spekuluje se mezi lidmi, že jako když budete někde v lese nebo mezi kameny a stromy a zaseknete se o něco, a když nebudete super grindovat artefakty nebo jeho konstelace, takže nemusí být až tak super, jak se může v trialu zdát. Takže to je jedna věc a zároveň si chci počkat na tu Pyro Archonu, takže dočasně pozastavím ty charakter event vyše a přesunu se tady na ty standardy. Mám jich tu 71, takže málo jich určitě nebude, vystačí na hned několik dílů. A pokusím se pozastavit, protože stalo se mi to jednou za celou moji kariéru, ale stalo se to, že dostanu 5-star drop a tím pádem bych dostal garantovaný ten 50-50, co už jsem selhal minule, bych dostal Kinichiho za 1 nebo 2 tenpuly, kdyby se mi povedla ta 0,5% šance. Naposledy se mi to provedlo právě úplnou náhodou, zrovna relevantní v tomto questu s Tartagliou, kdy jsem pulnul Zhongliho na hardpity po asi 90 pulech a pak jsem na 1 tenpul hned v následujícím videu pulnul Tartagliu. Takže je úplně možný, že bys to mohlo stát nahned s Kinichim, kdybych jako půlnu 6 tempulů a dostanu se jenom blízko k tomu hardpity limitu. Ale když mi to náhodou dropne, tak je to úplně všechno v kývlu. Takže půlnu ze standardu, tam mi pravděpodobně v následujících pár dílech nějaký 5-star padne. Pravděpodobně Diluk nebo Dia, ale co se dá dělat? Aspoň něco. Ale až dostanu pyroarchonu, tak to bude tezírat. Tak jo. Prosím. I mi dali Chevrus hned z toho charakter event banneru. Tu jsem taky nedostal. Ale může to být kdokoliv. Může to být Chevrus, nebo já nevím, Setos, kterýho taky nemám, nebo Gorou, nebo kdokoliv, koho mám na maximálně konstelovanýho. Nebo to může být téměř jakákoliv zbraň random 4-starová. Jako třeba Sacrificial z Greatsword. Protože proč ne? A to bude všechno, jo? A další set do Sacrificial série. Sacrificial zbraně si rád namaxuju a maximálně refinu, to mi vůbec problém nedělá. A jelikož to byl Archon Quest bloky, tak minimálně 2 tempuly jsou pravidlo. Prosím, vím, že ten hardpity pro standard je blízko. Možná budu úspěšný tenhle temple, nebo to bude příští díl. A chtěl by to aspoň jednoho 4-star charaktera vyloženě. Se zbraněmi už na mě nechoďte. Heizo! Heizo dostane další power-up. Nice. That's what I like to see. OK? Wow, to znamená. Tak máme další modu. Už asi 3. za relativně krátkou dobu, během pár dílů, jsme dostali 3 mony. 3 5-starový mony. A její konstelace k ní. Krása. Teď je to buď ta pasivka uprostřed, anebo je to už ta další level up boostovací věc. Tam k ní už máme taky dost. Well, I'll take it. A jinak i Heizova jako takovýho bych bral, protože ten je taky docela fajn a power up na něj by dokázal mi přehodnotit jeho užitečnost. Jo, zopakuju si, jaký má skilly. Heartstopper Prosták, Master Kick. Jeho ultina. The pull effect of the resting target of a Windbuster Kick is enhanced and its duration is increased. Takže ta ultina vytvoří silnější vcucávací efekt a ten vcucávací efekt zůstane v efektu o nějakou tu sekundu navíc, takže cool. Se hodí. Každé malé přilití je dobré. Eventuálně, až ho bude mít skoro namaxovanýho, tak těch pár přilití bude plný pohár síly. Speaking of which, tady už máme 5. konstelaci z 6, takže už máme vylepšení jejího skillu pro modu. Ten její základní skill, level upgrade, Mirror Reflection of Doom, kdy vytvoří vodní blast, ten vodní blast tam nechá za sebou tauntující postavičku a ta tauntující postavička ještě vytváří vodní damage v AOE kruhu kolem sebe. Takže jo, má level boosty na obou dvou věcech tady, takže už definitivně si vůbec nemůže na co stěžovat. Takže jo, s touhle bombou se můžu akorát jenom rozloučit. Děkuji, že jste se dívali. U dalšího Fontaine pokračování se uvidíme za relativně dlouho, ale někdy se tam vrátíme a dál budeme pokračovat u sidequestů a mikroquestových ság. Takže děkuji, že jste dívali a pokud budete spát, tak dobrou noc.